Ryan, in that game, Monday night, one of the things that happened was the Jets won it, surprisingly. Sorry. On a punt return. Turned out to be a really good game, but we obviously have to get into the thing you don't want to talk about, the thing no Buffalo fan wants to talk about, but we can't ignore it. Josh Allen was a turnover machine. Again, 3 interceptions and a fumble, 4 turnovers in a game that Aaron Rodgers got hurt. I'm honestly shocked at how situationally ignorant Josh Allen was in that game. Like, how are you not aware or not playing to the fact that Aaron Rodgers is out, Zach Wilson's the Jets quarterback, a couple field goals wins this game. Like, all you got to do is punt. Hey, 3 plays and punt, and you're in a better situation than what you did. The first interception, he could have ran for it. Literally, he could have ran for the first down. Instead, he throws it downfield. Okay, whatever. Second interception, they're in field goal range. He forces it into double coverage. And then the third one, Stephon Diggs is wide open on the third and 2. Stephon Diggs is wide open on the shallow cross at the first down line, and he throws a deep bomb to be picked off. It's baffling, but it's also not, because this is Josh Allen. He's got 84 turnovers since he entered the NFL. That's most in the league since that period of time. Ryan, at this point, is it fair to say he's not a top 3 quarterback? Because he keeps doing this, especially post Brian Daboll.
Oh, man. Yeah, I mean, yes, it's fair to say that, because there's guys that are better than him right now. That there's at least 5 guys I know of that are miles better than him currently. Now, potentially, what their potential is, I think Josh Allen has a very high potential. He has a top 2 potential. I don't think he'll ever be better than Patrick Mahomes. I don't think anybody in the league will be better than Patrick Mahomes while we're watching the NFL. But the interceptions that he threw, it wasn't just deep bombs downfield. It was deep bombs downfield in double coverage. He was seeing, I don't know what he's saying, ghosts maybe? Something.
When you had other options.
Maybe some of the fog got in the way, or I don't know, maybe it was him spending the entire offseason with Haley Steinfeld. I don't know what it was.
Lucky bastard.
But something was in his head. He got that wide-eyed look on his face that he always gets when he makes stupid mistakes, like he's looking for somebody else to blame. And, a lot of people gave Ken Dorsey a lot of crap, right? Like how he's coaching the offense. Ken Dorsey actually helped Josh Allen. That was proven on the field early in the first quarter when Josh Allen was taking those checkdowns. Used to, he didn't do that, but he did in the first quarter. Now, what happened the rest of the game, that's on Josh Allen. Ken Dorsey has nothing to do with this. I think part of it is how Josh Allen is coached. They need somebody like a Frank Reich or a Steichen. They need somebody like that to come in and work out the kinks in Josh Allen. I don't know. Well, I haven't seen a quarterback go this back and forth ever. We were talking about MVP candidate 2 years ago.
Yeah.
We were talking about him on the coattails of Patrick Mahomes. And now we're talking about him in the ranks of, number 9 or 10 in the league maybe. I think he's dropped that low in quarterback ratings right now.
Well,
I don't know about statistically, but just in my mind, I can put that many guys ahead of him that I feel more confident in leading a team to a victory. And it's sad because Josh Allen has so much talent and such a big arm. I don't know if it's just Diggs getting into his head where he thinks he's got to force feed Diggs the ball.
Well,
I don't know if he
clearly
thinks
not, because on that 3rd and 2, he wasn't force feeding Diggs the ball.
Right, exactly. I don't know if it's him thinking that he has to get these chunk plays for whatever reason to pad the stats. I don't know what it is, but you were exactly right. A punt would have been better than anything he did. 3 interceptions and a fumble. By the way, that was actually almost a double fumble. It was worse than just a regular fumble. But going into this game, I thought Josh Allen had some things worked out. I really did. I thought this year we're going to see him shake off all the bad moves from last year, and Tristan, by God, has just gotten worse.
It was like he picked up right where that Bengals playoff game ended. It was as if it was halftime of that game, and here he came. It makes no sense. In his career, he's only had 19 games where he did not have a turnover. That's 24% of his games. So if Josh Allen goes on the field, well, there's a 75% chance he's going to have a turnover that game. Now, to be fair, a lot of the times that's okay. Like if you're going to throw me a pick or even two, but you're going to throw 4 touchdowns, I can kind of live with that. I don't want you to be too contained. I want you to let it go. I think because he is so gifted and because he's so talented and he can do so many special things that sometimes he just is like, I can do things nobody else can do. Watch this. And I don't understand how you're at this point where you've been in the league 5 years and you can't be aware of Ryan, if we're sitting on our couch and we know, hey, Aaron Rodgers out of this game, all you got to do is run, eat clock. This is the defensive game, kick a couple field goals and you win. And he's just forcing the ball and turnover
for
and turnover.
no reason. They were leading.
Yes.
They were leading the majority of that game. And to kind of piggyback off what you said, that's the old saying, with great power comes great responsibility.
That's right. Spider-Man.
I don't think he's honed it in yet. You look at somebody like Patrick Mahomes, and Tyreek Hill leaving last year was the best thing to happen to him because it took his talent and dispersed it across the field. So now Patrick Mahomes is talented on multi-levels. He's not just that deep bomb to Tyreek Hill anymore. He's not just that wild, no-look pass guy. He barely did that at all last year, and it was one of those things where you give him less and you get more. And with Josh Allen, he's got less. He's only got 1 star receiver. And honestly, Stephon Diggs isn't even in the rankings of like Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase.
No.
He's nowhere near those guys. I was happy to see Josh Allen take those checkdowns early, and like to James Cook and stuff like that. Like you could see him kind of working the field that way. But something about, number one, overtime. He's 0-5 in overtimes, which is terrible. But something about big games, he just can't do it. He can beat the Chiefs in the regular season somehow, but anything past that, when it comes to playoffs, when it comes to like a highly anticipated Week 1 game, September 11th in New York, can't do that. Oh, by the way, star quarterback of the Jets went down, still can't manage to win that game. All you had to do was put it on cruise control.
Yes.
I bet you the backup quarterback could have came in and won the game for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, I guarantee you it would have happened.
Absolutely, because the only way you lose that football game is if you have 4 turnovers. That's the only way.
3rd and 2. And we took a deep shot.
When Diggs is wide open for the first down. Wide open. It's one thing forcing the ball downfield when you have no one else. And you're like, everyone's covered. Let me take a deep shot. That would be bad. But still, okay, at least then you can see it. But he's forcing it downfield into double coverage when he has guys open, when he has a running lane. And then that play where he ran, and instead of just going out of bounds or going down, he tried to jump over the dude and get I genuinely think like his brain just doesn't work sometimes, and it's so frustrating. We saw this was the guy he was in college at Wyoming. It's like, wow, he's got some great ability, but he makes a bunch of boneheaded decisions, and he was like that when he came into the NFL. Brian Daboll came in, and he contained it. Josh Allen had the best year of his career with Brian Daboll. That playoff run they went on when they lost to the Chiefs in the 13-second game, he was exceptional in the playoffs. He couldn't have played better. He was perfect. They could have won the Super Bowl that year. And then Daboll leaves, and he regresses. So I do think there is something to put on the coaches. I don't really love having this discussion because it feels like it gives Josh Allen an out. You know what I mean? And you have to be responsible for your own performance. But it does feel like maybe somebody's not going over there. And you saw the clip where Diggs went over there and was like, hey, man, we're good. You got this. And he just looked dejected. He looked like a kid who broke his toy and nobody could talk to him.
When your wide receiver has to go and pep talk the quarterback,
that's not a good sign.
It's not a good sign. The quarterback's supposed to be the guy running up and down the sidelines like Patrick Mahomes does. He talks to the defense, the offensive line. He'll talk to the coaches, by God. Right. Like Patrick Mahomes talk to anybody and get them pumped up because he never quits. Josh Allen, it's like once he makes one mistake, the dominoes fall, man, and it's just one after the other, and he can't seem to get his footing back under him.
I know.
It was a complete breakdown on all fronts. There wasn't a smart decision anywhere on the field by Josh Allen almost the entire night, past like the first 4 or 5 minutes of the first quarter.
So, okay, again, we've only seen him not be this kind of quarterback while Daboll was there, but he's got a lot of years left. Like, this is a guy who should be a top quarterback in the league. His talent speaks for itself. It's just this decision-making. And then in the post game where he knows, and I credit him for, taking the blame, but the demeanor and the way he's like, yeah, same shit, different day. It's like, well, if you know what it is and you know it's the same shit, then how are you not aware of it in the game? How he's sitting on the sidelines dejected. He has to know he's forcing the ball, and then you're going to go out there and throw a fourth turnover? I just don't. I genuinely think his brain just fries sometimes while he's playing, and he gets scared or tries to force a ball or he sees ghosts. But
it's kind of like an addict, when they admit that they have the problem and you're like, but you're the one that can fix it. And then in reality, they actually need somebody to help them.
Yeah.
And I think Josh Allen needs somebody to help him control his talent, because he's bursting at the seams with talent.
He's addicted to throwing into double coverage.
That's exactly what it is.
That's so
he needs
funny.
Somebody to come in and have an AA meeting with him.
There's the old saying, when someone tells you who they are, believe them. My opinion is this is who he is. He's told us, so I'm just going to believe it. Until I see him go back to that playoff run from 2 years ago, I'm just going to believe this is who Josh Allen is. What I want to ask you is there any hope for him? Is there any hope that he can course correct at this point? Or, as I said, do we just accept that this is his identity?
Yeah, no, I think there is a way for it. I'm not ready to throw in the towel and give up hope, because we know the type of quarterback he can be, right?
Yeah.
Like, nothing's changed as far as the talent. The talent's still there. It just doesn't have there's no conduit for it to run through. It's just there on the table, and it overflows and doesn't ever show itself off in the right way. He threw the ball like 10 yards past the guy that he was intending, and that the actual Bills receiver, and threw it way over the head to the deep safety for the other team. Like, yeah, he's got an arm, but like, that wasn't the time to show it off, So I think that with all that talent there, we know what he can be. I'm not ready to say that, he's done. This is just who he is, because I don't think that. I think he has honestly, this is no joke. I think he has severe anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
I think he really has a genuine inner anxiety about him that you can see it on his face.
I agree. I agree.
You really can. And that can mess with you. Everybody's dealt with anxiety at some point. I know you have, I have. It works on you. And when you're at that level and people are expecting that much out of you, and you got to think, the whole team rests on Josh Allen's shoulders for the past 2 years. It's been nothing but the Allens and Diggs show. That's it. They haven't had any help. And so I don't know if maybe Daboll did something better or said the right words to let Josh Allen know that, hey, it's a team effort and we're all here for you. I don't know. I don't know if he needs coddling. Maybe that's what he needs.
Maybe. And
but
that's okay.
I know what he can be. I know what he's capable of. And I think it's going to take getting the right coach in there, or the right something in there to flip the switch. I don't think he can play any worse than he did the other night.
No.
Knock on wood. If he plays worse than he did the other night, God help us. I couldn't imagine a game worse than 4 turnovers. Tristan, all you had to do was hand the ball off.
That's it.
Every single down, and you would have won the game. That's all you had to do. You had the backup. You had Zach Wilson in there, and you couldn't bring home a victory after being up most of the game.
I love what you said too. Last point about the anxiety, because whether it's anxiety, whatever it is, you can see it. Like him going on the sidelines when Diggs went and talked to him, you can see it in that press conference. Something's not right with him. Things don't sit right with him. He gets in his head and he doesn't trust himself. And that is a big issue, whatever it is, and it can be controlled. And maybe Daboll was able to control that and talk to him and really be that support he needed that he hasn't had without Daboll. Where do you see the Bills going the rest of this season? Do you have high hopes? Do you think they can get it on track, or are you buckling in for a long run?
I picked them to win the division.
It is only week 1.
I still think they will.
Okay.
If I'm playing odds, half of his turnovers we can chalk up to week 1 anxiety and rust. Best case scenario. I know it's not that. There was something more.
Sure.
But I'm just saying, if you look at stats on paper, it's okay, well, maybe 2 of those was it's just shake off the rust. 2 of them was his own mistakes, blah, blah, blah. Like I said, I don't think it can get any worse. I still think they can win this division. But, man, if he doesn't step up, the Bills are in not only for a long ride this season, but they're in for a whole lot of questioning and overhauling in this offseason. Like if Josh Allen plays like this all year, this offseason is going to look wild.
No, agreed. I mean, we kind of talked about this before season because, like, when you've got a quarterback like Josh Allen, regardless of the decisions he's making on the field, he's not the guy you get rid of. Okay, so even if it's not McDermott and Dorsey and all those guys, well, they're going to pay the price. And week 2, they've got Vegas. Week 3, they go to Washington. Then week 4, Miami. So they've got 2 weeks to get right. Vegas and Washington, they better get it dialed in before they have to face off against Tua, because in that game, they're going to need Josh to be airing it out and throwing some bombs, and we can risk the mistakes. Like when we're facing Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and all those guys, okay, we can be more aggressive. It's just knowing the situation. I'm very interested to see how he looks after these next 2 games. I want to believe in him. I want to believe in that team, but I'm certainly concerned at this point because it's not the first time this has happened.